I'm going to share today how this actually changed my life because that's the reason why I'm sharing it. I created a really amazing method and it took me a really long time and to really create this in the best way because obviously I tried it out on myself first. And it helped me in so many ways to really get breakthroughs and also insights on things that I hadn't even thought about before. And then I was pairing them with Healy programs based on what actually was coming up. So I'm going to share a little presentation. It's not long. These days, I'm doing things quick and easy because I want to spend more time actually talking about the stories that I've had breakthroughs in whilst doing this analysis for myself. So let's do share screen. And we'll start. So Gateways to Gold was born, and it's actually in the process of getting a trademark with this particular method that I've created. And it's really specific on how I'm building frequency into human design. And I'm so excited to share that with you. So I'm going to share today how I went from hustling, which means working all the time in survival mode, to creating a life and business led by alignment and not exhaustion. Now, I am a full-time mum. I'm able to do this whilst doing many other things. And as many of you know who are mums, it's very difficult to actually do both. But I've actually found something that works for me and I'm not exhausted. And I'm still waking up in the night and I'm not exhausted. And I'm able to actually build something that's working for me and it's in alignment. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without this method. So I'm going to show you how you can do the same. And it may seem simple, but sometimes we forget the simple things. We're overthinking. We're all these different things coming in. We're trying to do things the way other people are doing them. It's not possible to do things the way that other people do them because your chart is unique. There's no one who has a chart like yours. Your chart is special. And you might try to do something the same as everybody else, but it won't always work. And a lot of the time I was always looking around going, why is it working for them and not for me? Why am I always working really hard and still I'm not able to bringing the money in? But it's not even just about money. Abundance is health, it's love, it's how you feel about yourself, it's how you go about every day, it's how alive you are. That's how I see abundance. So a lot of people who've had their reports done are not talking about money. People are wanting better health. For some people, abundance is health, really good health, being able to move through life without pain. It's such a big thing. And so this works for that too, because once you're in alignment, everything else is flowing. Your body changes, the way you change your mind when you start having awareness on the things that you maybe didn't before. And a lot of the things that you will learn in your reports and from any human design reading usually is things that you know already. What it does is it confirms those things. It confirms that that's why I feel that way. And once you have that confirmation, a lot of the time you feel better because you go, oh, it's not just, I thought it was my fault. I thought it was something I was doing wrong. But no, it's like, no, this is your design. How do you best utilize your design at the highest frequency? Because you can get gifts from every single gate and they're all superpowers. And things that you thought were your flaws are superpowers. You just have to learn how to use them in the best way and how to actually and look for the healing insight. Because I'm going to be showing a lot of people who have their reports. I know a lot of it looks like shadow work. I'm showing you things that it's painful to look at because you're seeing where it's sitting in your design. But what's most important is where you're able to heal it. And that's why the affirmation and the healing insight are probably the most important parts of the report because you have to look at those to be able to transform it. So we're going to be looking today at how this actually supported me, how the gates in my design changed everything for me, how I used Healy, how it helped me to release the trauma, how it helped me to rewire my field, and also the energetic maps I create, the coherence maps are really amazing because it gives me like actual solutions when I'm feeling a certain way as well. How the gateways to gold helped me stop chasing things I wanted and instead start receiving it rather than looking for it. All right, so this is my human design chart. Everyone's looks very different. I love it when I see so many different charts. I just did 3 reflectors in a row. It was like amazing. Reflectors are the ones without any definition on their chart. So I'm just going to quickly go over this chart and what it means so that you're not completely lost of what, because this can be very complex. And I know those who've had a report, you may not have had a reading from me. Some of you might have had a reading from me in the past, and I've explained what all this means. But the report is just giving you the insights. A lot of human design readings, they'll tell you a lot of things about yourself, but they won't tell you where your current struggle is sitting in your design. It won't tell you actually how to practically change that or transform it. So I'm going to be doing that in examples today and in your reports. So you'll see the white centers. Each of these are centers. There's 9 centers in total. Each of the ones that are white is undefined, or they're open. The G center you'll see for me is open. The ajna is open. Let me just turn the cursor on a second. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. So you'll see the head is the very top. That's our channel of inspiration coming from external. So all outside information, creativity, anything that's going to come in to the head from outside. Then the next one is the ajna. The ajna is helping you to analyze that stuff that's coming in. So anything from the external, all inspiration comes in through the head, down into the ajna. Ajna is analyzing, like measuring, putting it into boxes, how to best utilize this information, and so on. Very good for analyzing, not so much good for making decisions. Let's just put that in there, which most of us make decisions from our heads. Let's just say that, oh, the head gets in the way. Then we've got the throat. This is where all the energy in the human design is trying to exit. So anything coming from the head down the ajna will exit through the throat. It doesn't even hit the body. It doesn't even go down to the lower centers. Then the root, the same. So anything coming from the root, from the sacral, coming from below, will go up and exit out the throat. That's why we shouldn't make decisions from the head or the ajna. Then we've got the G center, which is something that you might not know. This isn't totally traditional, this method, this chart. So it's the G center is our direction towards love and life, where we're going, our purpose. Then we've got the heart, which is the small triangle. This is actually for willpower, and it very much governs our self-worth. It's our heart center, but it's not the heart center as the traditional method as we know it. Then we've got the sacral, which is the red one, which is defined for me. That's my source to energy. It's literally the motor of plugging into life force energy. Not everybody has this defined. And then on the right-hand side, we've got the solar plexus, which is governing emotions, not always our own. And then on the left is the spleen, which is the center of intuition. And at the bottom, we've got the root center. And that's our drive, our willpower, actually adrenaline coming from the root. So that's just an overview of what they are. It's not that important to know exactly everything today, because I can't do it. I could talk all day about this. But just to kind of give you an idea of why they're white and why they're colored in, because this is quite important. So the undefined centers, the white ones, are areas of deep sensitivity and also conditioning. Anything, if you've grown up with somebody around you that's had a really strong effect on you, they are going to be conditioning the open centers, the undefined centers. That's where they have the most impact. So if you've had anything coming from the outside, anything that's happening on the outside of you, that's where you're going to have most impact in these places. They're also centers of wisdom. They go very deep. Centers of our deepest struggles often are lying in these centers, the white ones. And then we've got the defined centers, which are the colored ones. These are our superpowers, but sometimes also our blind spots, because we're so fixed in these points. These are centers that are not open to outside energy. We're very fixed in these areas. We know our energy in these centers very well. We are very consistent in these centers. Like I said, they're superpowers because we're consistent. We know that there are anchors, but there are also centers that we can get stuck and rigid in as well. So we also have to look out for those centers as well. So sometimes this defined centers can be our strengths, but it also can be pressure to carry something that we don't need to carry in those. A lot of our defined centers hold ancestral imprints and genetics, and because they're so fixed, we often hold the stuff that we're carrying forward in these centers because they're very consistent. Often our deepest patterns are in our defined centers, and often we need to let them go, learn to be more open-minded, maybe learn to be more fluid in the centers that are defined. As much as they're great to be consistent, a lot of people feel stuck because of the defined centers. So I am going to be showing you a few of my gates that are actually affecting me very often. Let's move on to the next screen. What's a gateway? So this is really important. The gateways are the little numbers that are inside each center. Each center has a number of gates. When they're defined, they will be blue and they'll have a little energy channel coming from them. If they don't, if the other gate on the other side is not, let's go back and just show you. If the other side is not activated, then it will be a hanging gate. As you see here, let's look at the heart center. You will see I have the gate 21, which is half. It's half the channel, but I don't have the opposite gate, the 45. So it's very important that it's not important, but it doesn't matter if they're both connected or not. Okay, if they are connected, if they have a full channel, then you'll see that's when they become defined. They only get colored in if there's a full channel. And that's why you'll see the bottom, we have a number of full channels that are connecting my root, my spleen, my solar plexus, and my sacral. So what is a gateway? The gateway is a point in your human design that holds the potential transformation. It's not the only place because there's lots of different levels and complexities to human design, but there's a part of this that's great that you can learn. Each gate has a shadow and a gift. Actually, the whole of your human design has a shadow and a gift. You just have to learn how to work with the gift and to transform the shadow. So I combine this with Healy, and basically this can shift the entire trajectory of your life. It can really shift things on an energetic level, especially if you're stuck in a certain way with your design. So let's start with gate 50. This is a gate that I've actually really had to work with. It's actually the gate of responsibility. This is the one that's really held me back over time. And these are who here is a caregiver? Who are those people that loves to give, loves to feel responsible, loves to try to fix everybody else? I use this center is going from guilt-based caregiving to boundary support. This is how I've transformed this gate. Does anyone else here have the gate 50? You may actually, yes, iPhone number 2 does. I don't know who that is. But yes, so gate 50 it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. You just have to learn how to work with it. And so what I'm doing in these reports, I'm showing you how to work with this in the best way. So for example, gate 50, before, what was I doing before I actually transformed it? I was always overgiving. When it doesn't, you know, that you want to buy someone does anyone here ever go and buy a gift for somebody like at Christmas, end up buying them like 3 gifts and not just one? Because they feel like you want to get them a few things, whether one gift would probably be fine. It's like one example. Or there's people that give things for free if you're working in this business, if you're working with people and you end up going over the time that you've promised to give them, you're doing it for free. All of these things I don't tend to do anymore. Very rarely I would do something for free, only when I know that person is going to really benefit or is really struggling and is really going to apply the work. Because it doesn't matter if I give it for free or not, the person probably is not going to do the work, because very often you have to put something like a value onto it. Your value is very important. So yes, a few people here have 50. So problem with overgiving with gate number 50 is always giving, is that you end up being burned out. You're always caring for everyone else. You never ever look after yourself. It's like you almost put yourself second in all situations, like you're not priority. And then you feel guilty. Guilt was it's quite big in my emotional field. Guilt is something that comes up quite often. Guilt often drove my decisions. And until you really fully put some awareness into it, you don't notice the guilt feeling. And you're like, oh, actually. So as you go through each of your gates in your report, it's good to wait on to work with one gate at a time. I know I've given a lot of people here 21-day protocols and stuff like that, and everyone wants to get through it real quick. This is not the idea. The idea is to really focus on gates or focus on centers and just work with that one gate or that one center for a while, because it doesn't transform overnight. It's really a beautiful kind of gift to be able to have something like this, to understand how to work with it. So the breakthrough was I realized I was amplifying the fear of failing others. Now, the spleen, so let's just go back to the spleen. This spleen here actually governs fear. It's also it's the oldest intuitive center. So you wonder, well, how is that possible? How does fear and intuition come in together? That's often how people think, and it doesn't make sense. Actually, it makes a lot of sense, because if you imagine an animal, they have to have intuition. They have to use their instinct, and instinct requires having some kind of fear, because they've got to have an awareness of maybe an animal's going to attack it, and that instinct is really important, because that instinct is actually intuition of knowing when something's going to come or not. And it's the same for us. We have to have this center of intuition and instinct. And so each of these gates actually hold a fear. Now, the gate 50 has the fear of failing others, of not being able to be responsible for other people, failing other people. Now, the problem is when you start taking responsibility for everybody else, is the other people, the people that you're helping, it's actually not helping them. It's actually helping them fail from doing it themselves. Now, of course, that's not for everybody. You have to give to people who can't do it for themselves and are struggling. And like I said, boundaried support, but not just giving to do it for them. Because the thing is, you end up giving yourself a pain in the end, of resentment, because you're giving and doing it for everybody else all the time. Right? Let's take fatherhood and motherhood, for example, because I'm in the middle of it. The mother always wants to just do it, right? They can do it. Anyone with a strong sacral center is able to do a lot of things. They say yes to a lot of things. They love saying yes because they can. It's possible, but it doesn't mean it's right for them. It doesn't mean they should do it, but they do it because they can. And this society have taught us to do it, to do things, to always be on. We forget to listen to ourselves and what it is that we actually want to do. But this idea of like fatherhood, motherhood, is the mother takes the role and sometimes does everything and then never actually gets any help, because the father doesn't have any confidence, because we've taken that responsibility away from them. They don't know actually how to do it, and then we criticize, and then they actually don't take responsibility, and then when you really need help, they can't do it. Now, this is so classic gate 50. If you've gone and tidied up the house every single day and not given your kids the chance to tidy up after themselves, they're never going to do it. So you might do this and not have gate 50, right? You think, oh, I don't have gate 50, but I do that anyway. There's definitely other places in the human design chart that can come up. So don't worry. It's just people that have this center, this is something that's very much drives their design very often. So I stopped doing that. I started really connecting with what I give, over giving, and I was also amplifying the fear of failing others. And I actually used Healy to support me in this. And I've got some great programs and great scans on why you'd use those programs and actually have a focus behind them. So everyone that gets a report gets a focus, gets an affirmation, and then you can really focus on that gate to like transform it and then put that into the Healy and just focus around that particular issue or that struggle. So afterwards, I got loads of energy back, believe it or not, because I wasn't doing everything for everybody else. I started choosing where I was going to give in alignment rather than obligation. Okay, so these are some of the programs I used with this. So deep cycle renewal. This is for resetting the nervous system, and also patterns of guilt. You can make notes on this one. This is great for that. Soul cycle. Some of us don't have soul cycle. You might have your report. You're like, I don't have soul cycle in my pink programs. Don't worry. You can run it on the blue, do a scan and just send vibrations for the pink. You'll get 5 programs. Or you can buy it, or you can just skip that one. No problem. Or do something that you think is similar. Anything emotional. Maybe it's something like feel good systemic on mental balance, or maybe it's inner unity, or maybe it's the gold cycle release, because it's emotional release. Sometimes you might have to input a program instead of something you don't have, or just do a Healy scan and find out something you might need and have this as a focus. I use the back flower scan a lot for guilt and over responsibility and belief patterns. Anything emotional is always good with the back flowers. Now, I've given you examples of things that might come up in your report. It doesn't mean that's what will come up, but it's just showing you what's possible that might come up and can support you. I just wanted to give you an insight of what's inside there and how it can support you. And then after this, I reclaimed my energy. I chose who and what to support with love and not with guilt. So that's my first story with Gate 50. I want to just share also, a few more things about that. Gate 50 is the wound, right? So the wound with Gate 50 is, if I stop, people will suffer, right? Who else has that feeling like everyone will suffer if you stop helping them? It's actually not often the case. People just want to suffer anyway. Hyper responsibility, overcare, lack of boundaries. What else is good here is doing a coaching scan and working with boundaries, especially with the relationships aspect. So the real strength actually in this gate isn't doing it all. It's trusting that others can care for themselves. Once you start trusting others that they can care for themselves, then your boundaries create safety and not harm. Without boundaries, it creates harm. That's all it does. And so just remember next time that you're overgiving that actually you're not helping the person at all. Okay, we're moving on to gate 28. Just going to ask whoever's joined, if you don't mind muting yourself just for the background noise, it would be amazing. Oh, Juana, if you could do that for me, that would be great. So thank you. Wonderful. So the gate number 28, so I had to put this in. I've got this 5 times in my design. How does it have 5 times? Don't worry, we don't need to go into details, but actually in your human design chart, there's astrological signs that each of these gates are in, or you also have an I Ching line for each of these gates. But 28 is in a number of different of my astrological signs. So this is all based on astrology as well. That's why you might find it similar to having a astrological reading. You'll find little things that are similar, but like 28 is the gate of struggle. Like, it's so funny because I gave birth and it was like the biggest struggle of my life. Like, I thought it was going to be easy. Of course it wasn't. 5 days in labor, emergency C-section. Then I hemorrhaged and lost 3 liters of blood. It's like, and then I couldn't breastfeed because then I didn't have enough supply. Like, literally, like, I kind of laughed afterwards after the trauma because I realized that this is just so my design. And so if you feel like you always are in struggle, often you might have this gate. Who has this gate? Number 28. And there's other places, like I said, in the design that you might struggle a lot as well. So don't worry if you don't have it. 28 is the gate of struggle. But the thing is that we have to struggle with this gate. It's not that you are not going to be out of struggle. It's just that we're looking for meaning in life. And sometimes it's not our head looking for meaning. It's our design. It's our energetic blueprint. We are looking for meaning in our physical body. And so often we end up in struggles that are meaningless, right? So we're doing things that we didn't actually need to struggle like that. I didn't need to struggle for 5 days in labor, for example. It's about understanding that. And I've really learned so much from my birth. And I know a lot of women here will have had the same. I learned so much to surrender. And so meaningless struggle is really something that we don't want to do with this gate. It's about purposeful challenge. How do we put our energy into moving through life purposefully, like with a reason? In the end, I did actually get meaning from the struggle from being in labor for 5 days because I learned so much about this gate from it. So sometimes we have to go into the negative, to the shadow, to bring back the medicine. And that's exactly what this gate is. You go into your shadows. People with this gate are often people that like to work not with death, but enjoy understanding and learning about death, understanding where we're going, where we're moving through, the end of cycles, shadow work, diving deep, bringing out potent medicine, purposeful challenge. I love a challenge. I love motherhood. It's so challenging, but it's so gate 28. Motherhood is gate 28. It's like, how can I pull out the best out of the situation? Julie had the same birth experience. So I really love this gate and to talk about it because it's just so defined in my human design. So before, everything felt like an uphill battle, right? All the time, struggling, and I didn't know why. And I remember this from a teenager. I didn't even know why I was so angry, why everything felt difficult. Well, do you know why? It's because I have number 28 in my design. And sometimes we'll go through life going, why did that happen? But actually, I'm learning why from my gate 28. And this gate 28, the breakthrough, showed me how to transform pain into purpose. And then also Healy supported me massively in this, how to face my deep fears of purposelessness. Because if I don't end up if I'm not in struggle, if I don't feel like I'm in a challenge, I feel like I'm completely like life has no meaning. And people with this gate feel that. They generally feel like that's why they always feel like they're in some kind of challenge, always struggling. But afterwards, I channeled my energy into my work. That's what I'm doing now. I love what I do. I've really learned how to become aligned in what I do and to be able to be a full-time mom at the same time. I love being creative and everything feels meaningful and everything feels aligned. I've only got like 12 slides in this presentation. I usually have 50. I'm learning to become more efficient in motherhood. So it is really beautiful, this gate. So just to go through some of the wound is when it's distorted, is if I'm not struggling, I'm not worthy. It's crazy, right? And that's why if you see people around you, and it's really good to know your family human design, it's really good to know friends human designs because you know how to manage them differently. If you see someone struggling beside you and always struggling, maybe they have gate 28. They don't feel worthy unless they're struggling. Maybe you can help them transform that. These reports help you transform it. So the pressure to prove by existence, pressure to prove my existence through pain. I don't know how many people know someone around them that's always struggling and always in pain, but actually, like, this is the wound, right? This is the wound that we need to transform. Again, life only matters is if I achieve something important. Shadow behavior, choosing the wrong battles, sabotaging beginnings. If you're a great self-sabotager, this could be it. Chasing meaning outside yourself when the meaning's inside. Themes are not self-themes. I must struggle to prove I'm worthy of being here. The breakthrough is I realized the key wasn't avoiding the challenge, right? So it's not about not doing it. It was about choosing the right struggle. Like, for example, I was going to give birth no matter what, but I chose to struggle for 5 days. I could have just gone in after 24 hours or 48 hours. You see what I mean? So I'm still learning. I'm still showing up in my chart all the time. So, and that's what I mean by that. That was the breakthrough. I don't have to struggle for 5 days. Healy supported me a lot with my birth. So healing insight, you get a healing insight in your report, which is mine here is you're not broken for struggling, but your struggle must serve your soul. If your struggle is not serving your soul, then it's not the right struggle. And that's a really good healing insight. If you've got your report and you don't know how to start, just start by reading the healing insights, because that's going to give you so much wisdom to learn how to move through life. These are some of the Healy programs that help me with gate 28. Go to the roots. Big one. Deep emotional shadow release. Mental balance, emotional well-being, really good for the nervous system. Schluser salts. Support for self-worth, life stability. Aura scan. So you'll see that on your report, I've got aura scan, affirmation focus. Now, here's an affirmation focus. I am here to rise through meaningful challenge. But you will have an affirmation in your chart. You can take that affirmation and put it into the coaching scan or into the aura scan and work with that. see what's coming up, vibrate. So now I pursue what feels purposeful. I embrace a challenge and not as a punishment, but as a portal to power. So moving on, this is the third. I've got two more gates to go through. This is gate number 8. So from invisibility to inspired leadership. So who here struggles about being visible? Some of you that are working online or just in general, like doesn't like showing up on, like doesn't like really being like in front of people in general. So gate 8 really helps us. This is the gate of contribution, actually, but this really helped me to become confident about showing up like I am today. So gate 8, before I felt unseen. Anyone here feeling unseen generally in life? I also was unsure on how to share my gifts. Yes, but I don't have 8 defined. Oh, it will show up definitely in your chart anyway, Christine. Like I said, there's lots of areas. And this is where you learn when you get your report done, you learn which parts of your design is just going to show up in. Because there's a different medicine for each gate and each center and how you actually manage it. So yeah, like I always questioned if I had anything valuable to offer. This is like part of the define. This is the throat center, by the way. Hence gate 8, right? Contribution, how you contribute, how you're giving, how you're inspiring other people. Often people with this undefined, like me, so my throat center is undefined, you often feel like you don't have a voice. You often feel like afraid to be seen, afraid to stand out. If you have it defined, it doesn't mean that you don't have this struggle. It's just that you're more consistent with how you're expressing yourself. Whether someone who have it undefined, let's just go back to it as it's white, this undefined, it's less consistent. So you actually might over talk. People with this undefined often are very loud people because they don't have any consistent way of expressing themselves and they feel like they need to be loud to be heard. But they're a little bit annoying loud. It's like, why are they so loud? Why are they not? Why don't they have an awareness on their voice? Because they might often have this undefined, or they might be very shy and quiet. So your voice is often fluid, right? If you've got this undefined, it's fluid. It's not rigid. It's not the same every time. So before I had the breakthrough, I always wanted to contribute, but I didn't know if I was able to lead people. I didn't know if I was too much or if I wasn't, if I didn't know if I was enough, if I was good enough. So the wound often here is that no one hears me, or I end up like changing myself to be accepted, like trying to be different types of people. That's also G center stuff as well, but often with the throat too. Sometimes I silence myself to avoid rejection. So I don't say anything and I go quiet because I don't want that to come back on me. I discovered with my breakthrough that gate 8 is the gift of contribution, and Healy helped me clear visibility blocks and imposter syndrome. So it reminded me that leadership isn't about actually how good you are or how loud you are or how quiet you are. It's actually just about presence. It's about just being here. Like I am quite sure if I sat here and was just present with all of you, we'd all learn something. And if I didn't have anything prepared, because I could just talk about this anyway. Presence is really amazing. A lot of us are not in the present moment. A lot of us are always living in the future or the past. This gate number helped me to understand presence, just to be here. To be here is valuable. You don't need to know more. You don't need to feel loud or quiet. But this gate of contribution really helps the energy of how you actually, like I told you, how the energy moves out of your design. And 8 is like a channel, it's like your channel, your portal of how you actually support your leadership gifts, your gifts that you have that you want to share. It helps you to really present that better. So it helped me step into my role model energy. And it started to magnetize the right people around me, my right friends, the clients I work with. Oh my God, at the moment, I have the most amazing clients I'm working with. It's just amazing. And they're coming because they see my transformation, I think. And I think also because there's possibility in this, and not just a report, but in general, to actually move and also create a business. Like, wow, it's so possible to build a business with this tool, with the reports. Wow, if you want to build your business and you're struggling with business, I can help you to build your business based on your report, how to actually move through these things that are blocking you. So, quick one. So, healing insight here is when I walk my talk, the right people recognize me and visibility becomes inevitable. What that means is that, like, when I'm actually doing what I say I do, or actually, like, really, if you really tune into to what is right for you in that moment, and it's really your gift and you really want to share it, it doesn't matter how you share it. This is going to, people are going to recognize you. If it's not the right thing that you're sharing, people won't recognize you. And that's it. So it doesn't matter how you share it, it's just what you share. It's just making sure what you're sharing is true to you. And that's gate 8. Just to share, let's see, I've got here wounds. I've got the wounds here. Oh, no, I already said them, I think. Okay, keep going. So just to share the Healy programs with this gate. Soul cycle, confidence to activate true voice. It can also be self-confidence. Honestly, like, don't worry about which one you choose. They're both going to work. Mental balance, feel good, systemic to clear visibility wounds. So if you feel really like, oh my God, I really want to share my gift, but I'm really like scared, then this is a great program for that. Aura scan, again, like putting in the affirmation that's in your report or this one. I'm seen, my contribution is meaningful. Creative homeopathy, oh my God, amazing for shadow work, working with self-worth, visibility. And afterwards, my voice began to flow from soul, not from fear. And I led by being me. You can only be you. You can't be anyone else. When you learn your report, when you learn your design, you are going to succeed in whatever you do. Once you become you and you learn to actually embody all of these things and accept them, then you can learn to really thrive in the way you do things, the way you are. Finally, gate number 63. This is going up into the head now. So we're going to the head center. Now, the head and the ajna are some of my biggest difficulties as well, because like the head and the ajna always want to know everything. They want to find the answer to everything. They want to learn why. They want to have certainty before they move forward, right? So this could also be a block. If you're afraid to move forward in sharing your gifts, probably you might have the gate of doubt. This is the gate 63. Our head and our ajna, it can very much get in the way of our whole design. Like this is actually one of the two centers that can actually just paralyze you from moving forward. It's probably going to be these two, the head and the ajna. So as you see there, gate 63. So how I went from mental paralysis to peace. So what I was doing before, I was overthinking everything. Just as soon as I got something as I wanted it, I would second guess it. I would think it's going to be wrong. I would doubt it. I would be like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually doing this is right for me. Who has gate number 63? In fact, anyone in anything with an open ed center or open ajna center is going to be thinking a lot about things. So before it's actually like the head center is all about pressure to know, want to know everything, always asking the questions that you probably don't even know the answers to. Some of the gifts I tell people here is that, like, do you actually really need to know that, or are you just going down a rabbit hole that's wasting time? Because like that, this gate, it's not this gate, this whole center has this ability to do that, wasting time. Like, and it's good to know things. And I know we always want to know everything, but is it really? Do you really need to? It's good to ask that question. So gate 63 in particular always wants to be certain before acting, like always wants to have everything perfect. There are other gates in the chart, by the way, that also have the perfectionist thing going on. but this is one of the big ones. I would feel that I was going to fail, or I might be judged by just sharing something that might not be perfect. So my wound was, I must have the answer before I begin. Paralysis analysis, self-doubt masked as logic. So I'm actually doubting, but actually I'm thinking that it's logic that I need, but actually it's just self-doubt. Next time you have doubt, really think about whether that's actually logical or not. Breakthrough. I learned I was stuck in the shadow of gate 63 of doubt. So Healy helped me release mental pressure and fear of judgment. It helped me shift my mental energy. It helped me clear loops of patterns of fear and self-criticism. My healing insight here was clarity comes not from pressure. Oh, I hate pressure so much. Like pressure is like, if someone pressures me into something, I probably just won't do it. Presence. So clarity comes from presence. Again, it's coming back to being just here and now, in the now. You don't need to know more. You don't need to know why. Doubt is a tool, not an identity. So the things afterwards, I gained clarity and peace. I allowed inspiration to come in without needing to prove it or to control it, without actually needing to know why. I just let the inspiration come in. I just let it be there in presence and just be with it and be like, this is beautiful. I don't need to know why. The Healy support here is the bioenergetic defense, the protection programs. They used to be called protection programs. I still call them protection programs, honestly. This is good for the mental programs, really good for any kind of mind loops, self-doubt, anything with the head. And the gold cycle balance, really stabilizing your whole idea of how you think and your nervous system. So aura scan, I release the need to know and allow divine clarity. Clarity will come on its own terms. Next time you want to find out something, maybe just say, do I really need to know this? I Ching is great for this, for trusting timing, allowing it just to happen on its own, a higher direction, coming from above, coming from the head is, remember, open to all, open of all consciousness. Let the higher direction bring you what you need to know in its own time. So afterwards, my mind became a space of ideas, not of interrogation. And I allowed curiosity without any pressure to know why. The mystery is such a beautiful thing. I learned with having an open ajna that it's actually very healthy for me not to know things and not to keep trying to get answers. And also it's really good for me not to try always to be certain. Like people with an open ajna, for example, the center below it is mine's completely open. This is the center that where the wound is like where you always want to be certain all the time. Like, for example, needing a script or wanting to make sure you've learned all your lines, or if you're going to do like a video or something, you need to like, or if someone asks you a question, you know the answer, but you don't remember it. You're so afraid to tell them that you don't remember the answer or that you don't know it when you should know it in your head. Well, actually, I've learned to tell people, I actually don't know in this moment. I need to check my notes. And it's totally okay to not know the answer to it. Even if somebody thinks that you should, or that you think that you should have the answer. You've done like a training for 3 years and you don't remember everything. What's wrong with that? It's okay to not know the answer to things and to let go of certainty. Like I have to be perfect, certain all the time. It's just so much difficulty in moving through life like that. Spend all your time worrying about how you are and how you come across to other people. It's just not healthy. So that is how some of my gates transformed my design, just some. This is like a tiny snippet. This is 3 gates out of like 21. So there's all the centers, the I Ching lines. It's really amazing. So if you have received your gateways to gold, I'm just going to remind you on how to use your protocol because I'm giving you a 21-day schedule. And this 21-day schedule is not rigid. It is not something that, oh my God, I need to do this every single day. It's not that. It's an example. I could probably give you like 5 different protocols for all different things. You could have a protocol just for one gate, for example, right? I could say gate 50, I'm always overgiving. It's definitely something that's very prominent in my design. It's stopping me from moving forward. I need to only work on this gate. I am going to just do 21 days on this gate. That's how you can use your report. So this 21-day schedule is for you to just rebuild energy, to restore trust in the body, to align with your unique design, using your Healy. You can use it as a daily frequency ritual. It can be a check-in with your body. It can be your energy, your healing path. Every single day has a theme from your undefined centers or your defined centers, your most tender gates, or your deepest realignment points. You can just work with the affirmations as well. So you could start your session in the morning with deep breath work or stillness. You could run the suggested Healy program, or you could put the frequency focus into the aura scan. You can speak the affirmation aloud. You could journal with the theme, because you've all got a journal. You've got your journal questions that you can actually talk and write about to really help you to understand this stuff that's going on in your design. Like I said, you can swap days. You can stay longer if you feel like something's really working for you. You can always pause and stop doing and just start feeling your body. Work with one gate. Trust your body. Let it lead. Let yourself lead your design. Lead your healing. These are just the final takeaways. So your challenges are clues in life in general. So the gates where you feel the most resistance are often the most transformational. Healy in human design is a quantum recalibration. This is what you're doing with frequency. However, I know people that have had their report without a Healy, and it's been very life transformational, because it's just by knowing this information helps them, especially where a specific issue is showing up in their chart. And when you follow your unique design and also support your frequency, then that's when the gold reveals itself. And you really start to see things shifting. But you are not going to transform without working on yourself. It's just not going to happen. And so if you want an easy ride, you might want to go and do something else. But this is going to require some work. Like, you have to work a little bit on yourself, but this makes it fun. It actually gives you things to do and actually ways to work with your design. So this report it's your invitation, first of all, to rebuild from the inside out. Your undefined centers, where conditioning, survival patterns, and old expectations still live in your system. If you've got a lot of undefined centers, you've probably had a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of things that need to be released from these centers. Don't worry, you can release them. It doesn't mean you're completely broken for life and, oh my God, I've got like 7 undefined centers and I'm a manifester and if you're a reflector and you have all open centers, it's different. I just want to put this in here, because if you've got a reflection, you're like, oh my God, I must be so open. I'm being conditioned. And it's different. Reflectors have a filter. They have they're surrounded by like a filter where they sample things. And so they don't get as affected in their open centers as what a projector would, for example, or a manifestor would. So don't worry if you've got a lot of open centers. What you really need to do is just learn to release things from those centers. If you've got a lot of strong emotions around you, learn to release them, because they're not yours half the time. The problem with the undefined centers is that you amplify everything around you. You don't just take in emotions from your client, you're amplifying them. A lot of people with undefined solar plexus are healers because they feel people so much. But often they don't realize that they're amplifying it. They take it on. The gates of conflicts and coherence. So this report is to find the exact energetic imprints that hold the challenge and the key to healing. Your superpower centers and how to work with them without pushing. And then your 21-day Healy protocol. And then you get personalized affirmations, you get scan suggestions, journal prompts that meet you in the middle of your healing, not outside of it. So this is the end of my presentation. Hopefully that's helpful. I want to just open the floor for questions. I don't know if anyone's asked questions yet. If not, you can pop a question in the chat right now. Anything that might be not clear in the chart for you. But also if you've got a question about your own chart, you can also unmute yourself. I'll put your hand up, use the little button, the toggle at the bottom, and put your hand up, and then I can unmute you when I'm ready. And for anyone that doesn't have their gateway to gold yet and who wants to get one, I've already increased the price from before, because I did a special offer for, honestly, I was inundated with reports, and I'm still finishing them. I've got maybe like 8 to go. I'm doing 1 to 2 a day. So if you're still waiting, I'm sorry, it is coming. I just have limited time, but I am working so hard. I put so much effort into them that I don't want to rush them. But if you don't have it yet, I am offering anyone today that's watching this, and until Friday, I am offering a 25% discount on the new price. So there's going to be a link and a voucher code going in now. Yeah, great, amazing. Thank you, Anna. I've got an amazing assistant here helping me. There's a code. It's G2G, Gateways to Gold, Set Me Free. And so you can get that. There's also a payment plan on there. So if you want a payment plan, it's possible if you feel like it's too much. And I know not everybody has the money. And so I've created a payment plan for anyone who feels that they're struggling. And this gives you 25% off until Friday. So go and grab yours, and let's open the floor for questions. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. And don't worry if I know a lot of people can't watch it today, so you're going to have till Friday to go and grab yours if you haven't already. Oh, Julie, I see you're on my screen. When I'm looking, you're just there. You look lovely. Love your hair. Is there any questions? Hi, Julie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm glad I'm at a stage now I can catch up with you again. I've got to go, but yeah, they're the questions I'm going to ask about this gold. Do I need to have a human design scan or something first, or
all you've got to do, so anyone that hasn't had this yet, all you have to do is you sign up, and when you sign up, you'll get an email with a form that you have to fill in.
Okay.
That you click the link, and then you add in your details and your core theme and struggle. Now, anyone that hasn't done this yet, be as specific as possible with your theme and your struggles. Like, if you want, write a lot of information, because I will show where everything is in each center, which gates, where it shows up the most. Yeah, so just be very specific with that. But yeah, take your time, take a minute to actually take 10 minutes or 15 minutes to sit.
Okay. And is it in the link for the messenger? Is it on that?
Yes, I'm in the messenger meeting chat, but I will be sharing this recording later, and it will also be in there as well. So you'll see it's on the YouTube channel, also in the Facebook group. So don't worry. And I'll send it by email as well.
Okay, great. Right.
Thank you, Julie.
See you. Bye.
So Cheryl saying thank you. Reports fabulous and so in depth. Love it. Okay, amazing. Farouk's gone as well. Hi, Farouk. All right. So anyone who's got their report who has a burning question at all, or at all in general, anything. Sonia, hi.
Hi. Sorry, I've missed some of it because I've got Jake here. So yeah. So where I've got on mine at the top, I'll show you. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Top where it's white, the triangle at the top, where there's nothing. Yeah. What would that mean?
That you are completely so I always describe it like this: when you have an open center. So when you have a gate, it's almost like you've got like a little bit of an anchor point to understanding or having some kind of consistent energy in that center. When you have nothing, you're completely open. Like there is like nothing, you don't know your own inspiration to the outside inspiration. So if you imagine like every center is like a colander that like you sieve, or a sieve that you sieve your pasta through.
Yep.
It's got loads of holes in it. When they're open, imagine there's like a lot of holes in it, and there's energy coming from the outside in and out all the time. So inspiration is like lots of inspiration coming in through your center. You're like, oh my God, all this inspiration, all these ideas. And then you're like, what do I do with this information? Well, it's pressure to know. Like, I need to know why this inspiration is coming into my head. Why is that coming in? And then we put it through into the ajna and we start analyzing, and we go down rabbit holes. So the thing is, we're just not consistent with the inspiration coming from the external, and it's pressure to know it. So it's like, you feel like almost overwhelmed by information and things from the outside. And so and it's also a center of wisdom. It's not just the wound. When you have something open like that, you are open to so much information from external. It's amazing.
And that one on the flip side, where you have so much negativity.
Yes.
Because of some days, like when I wake up, it's there. And I know it's nothing to do with me kind of thing, but then you take it as if it's your own, and then my thoughts go negative and start spiraling.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people with that open head or undefined head, the difference between open and undefined, like that's what you're asking me, open with no gate, is just that like you really have like it's like
no filter kind of thing.
No filter at all. Like it's just everything's coming in. So that will definitely be part of it. Like I have an open ajna. Like I forget things all the time. Like my open ajna is like it's like a forgetful center. Like I forget like what I'm about to say or things I should know, because that center always wants to be certain all the time. The open head always is pressure to know.
Yeah, because I don't think, because at the moment I've got a lot of brain fog and my head doesn't feel clear.
Yeah.
Like probably once did, because there's just
so much. This is it. So how you can work with that center is like if you go into your report and just look at the open head center and just understand it a little bit more, look at the undefined head and just look at what's coming up. Because the thing is when it's defined, it can also be painful.
Yeah.
Because like people with a defined head and a defined ajna, it can be those people that never think outside the box.
No.
You know, when you get those people that are not open-minded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying that people with a defined head and defined ajna are not open-minded. I just want to put that in there. But it can be that if you've got a defined head and defined ajna, the third eye, that you are stuck in your ways of thinking. And that can be very frustrating for someone like me and you that have this open. They're like, why can't you not just think outside the box? Why can't you think of this amazing thing that I've just come across? This is so cool.
Yeah.
And someone with it defined is like, oh no, like that's just out there. It's not for me. But it's like completely weird. Like that and so people with it undefined just get stuck in their ways of thinking, if you think of it, like try to transform into positive, because it's so easy to get stuck into the wound of it. Like it's great that you are noticing that, okay, this is where my negative thought patterns can come in really easily. That's where I can get overwhelmed with thinking. But how can you transform it into the positive? Like this is a center of wisdom. It means that you're so full of inspiration. You should learn how to express that creativity, like paint, or find a way for you to express yourself. Because what happens is all this inspiration comes in, and then what do you do with it? Now, you might not have it as inspiration. It might be more shadow stuff. It might be the negative thinking. But how are you going to release that? That's where you should be looking at it. Like, how can I healthily move that through that center? Remember, it's got holes in it, so you can release it easily. It's much easier to release negative thought patterns for someone with an open head than someone with a defined head. Because you've got a lot of space. It's fluid. So learn how to release negative thoughts in different ways. Like maybe it's like going for a run, or maybe it's like finding a positive method. Maybe it's like a mindset thing where I'm like, oh, like I'm going to reset my mind and go and, I don't know, jump in cold water swimming. I love cold water swimming. Learning how to meditate a little bit, like dancing in your living room, whatever it is, drawing, and letting it stuff come in and let it go out.
Yeah, I have to change my state quite constant, but it's a kind of daily thing kind of thing. You've got to keep on doing it. But
exactly.
The inspiration, everything else that comes, it's just, it's amazing.
The problem with open centers as well is that like sometimes you might have nothing. So it might be some days that you feel like, oh my God, I don't have any inspiration, or I feel like nothing's coming in, or I feel stuck. So like the problem is with an undefined open center, there is a lot or there's nothing, because there's no consistent energy going through. So you might find if you feel like stuck and you're like, it's good to go out. Go out, and then you're surrounded by all the inspiration from the outside. Remember, like, for example, going into nature could be really good. Like open centers, they love very nice environments. Like beautiful environments, like being around your best friends, like going to walk in nature, go and do something that you love. And that's with any center in the design that's open. Like, it's very good because you're going to then flood that center with that beautiful environment that you're in. And so that's a really good way to think about it. It's like, oh, I'm going into that space. I need to move my energy. Just think of it like that. I need to move the energy in and out of that center. The defined centers are your anchor points. So you feel sturdy with those, usually feel strong. The other ones, you can shape shift them. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
So much to learn with human design. So don't worry. It's an ongoing learning. With the report, there's always going to be questions.
And how long would, with obviously the Aura scan, the flower remedies and everything else, and the IG, how long would you use that for? How many minutes?
Like, I actually don't do it for that long. I do it for maybe 1 minute 20 or 2 minute 50. If I really like the result, I might like do it for a number of days, or I might do it for longer, like 12 minutes. I actually end up choosing it based on what I'm doing. I don't do it because it only takes a few seconds to imprint your field. It's just that we get stuck. That question you're asking me is for a typical open head question.
Yeah.
Open mind question, because it's actually like, it's a question you don't need to know.
No.
The thing is that we all want to know how long, why, and that's always, if you might find that you're always asking questions that you actually don't really need to know the answer to that. The idea is that we are just trusting our body, trusting that we know from our physical. We can ask your body in those questions in that moment. Go, what do I want in my body? If I'm doing a meditation with my scan vibration, which is often why I do it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a 10-minute meditation. I'll just pick 12 minutes and I'll scan it for that amount of time. So I know that whole 12 minutes, I can close my eyes and just allow the vibrations. If I'm doing a morning ritual and I've got things to do and the baby's going or whatever, I'll do 1 minute 20, 2 minute 50, and I'll be like, I've done my morning ritual and I've set my vibrations for that particular issue into my field, and I'm going to move on with my day. So it works like that for me. I don't do long stints of, like, I know some people do all night, or I don't think it's necessary.
No, I don't. I normally do it for about 2 minutes 50, roughly, but I have done it for 12 minutes, like yourself.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. You just check to make sure you're doing it. Okay, bit of self-doubt, isn't it?
That's the self-doubt. That's exactly. This is a great example of a lot of people are, and me too. I'm always doing it too, asking just to make sure, because we doubt. That's gate 63. Often you don't have gate 63, but it doesn't matter because the head is going to do that for you. It's the gate that's the shadow aspect of the head, open head center, is doubt, overthinking, not sure, wanting certainty, all those things.
Yeah.
So thank you for your questions, because I am sure that you've helped a lot of people here by asking those questions. So thank you, Sonia. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me. I would love if everybody to unmute themselves and say bye. That would be nice. I'll take 10 on the camera if you haven't, and just wave, just so I see some faces and hear your voices.
Bye.
Thanks, Abby.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Abby. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Lots of love.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone. Thank you.